And welcome to hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, former Congressman, current Assemblyman, Joe Sempolinski. Joe, good to see you.
Frank, it's a beautiful morning.
Yeah, you got a good day to drive in.
Yeah, dark and rainy.
We haven't had you on in a while.
It's been a little bit.
I know.
A little bit.
I don't know why that. There's no harm intended.
I just don't coming on. You know?
Well, how about this? This is why you love coming on, because we got this comment from a viewer. Yay, my favorite guest. He always has great info and insight.
Thanks, Mom.
Glad to see your mother is still watching.
My mom loves the show.
All right. So, hey, how'd the town hall go? I see you've been doing some town halls.
Yeah, we do town halls. We do about one a month, one every 2 months. That's what we do. So this was my 5th one. And we've done Olean, Wellsville, Canisteo, Gowanda, and last night I was in the village of Delavan, which is in northeastern Cattaraugus County. It's the township is Yorkshire, town is Delavan, and it was good. We had a lot of interesting feedback. We had the town supervisor was there, highway superintendent was there, local residents were there, a variety of different topics, different perspectives on things. It was good, and I had one gentleman who, I could tell by his line of questioning that we agreed on some things, but didn't agree on everything, and he said at the end, I don't think I've said this about a Republican before, but I'm impressed with you, which is very nice.
Well, hey,
it was a nice thing.
Take
to
the compliments where you can get it. Yeah.
So no, I like being out and talking to folks. And
how much does it? Because obviously you're there as an assemblyman. How much of it does become national?
Last night it was all state, and everyone is different, and you never know coming in. Is it going to be a big turnout, a small turnout? Is it what are the questions going to be?
Sure.
I've had town halls where there was a lot of federal questions. The one in Olean was kind of like that. Canisteo, it was all about the flooding issues in Canisteo.
Sure.
It wasn't even really state policy stuff. It was state casework type stuff. So it depends on the community. Depends what's going on in that community at that time. Depends on the season of the year.
Yeah, sure.
And so no, last night was interesting. The federal shutdown didn't come up.
No kidding.
No, didn't even come up.
It's
I
even
was
come
surprised.
up.
I figured that would be a major topic.
Yeah, because even some of the local interviews, obviously, this time of year we're busy with local interviews because elections are coming up. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But it's even come up, not on my part, but from some of the guests. And I found it's interesting.
Yeah. No, I was surprised. It was mostly talking about local infrastructure issues. Sure. It was a lot of energy issues, state energy policy, state environmental policy.
Well, that's starting to scare people because I know we talked to Phil about it a lot, but
Phil's talking about energy?
Yeah, when? Since when? No, but honestly, people are just hearing, which is so sad, just hearing about the electric mandate coming up at the end of the year. Yeah. So, Corning Natural Gas, sent out a thing. A couple others have sent out, and then I see all this coverage. Yeah. And I think, my goodness, we've been covering this for
and it's been the law since the CLCPA was passed.
Yeah.
So, this is something where, this is the games that get played, where they pass laws. When I say today, I mean the Democrat majority in the Assembly and the Senate. They pass laws and they don't take effect for a year or 2 or 3 years or whatever. And then they do a big press thing, we saved the world because of this. And then
it creeps up on you.
Creeps up on you. Yeah. And so, if you are building a new home in the state of New York after January 1st, you cannot build it with gas.
And it's too late, because you have to have some type of structure there. You can't just declare, run into the bank and go, I declare.
Well, declare bankruptcy. But I've had people come talk to me about that. It's like, how much do I have to get in the ground?
Yeah. And that's a little bit iffy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you sort of have to start. It has to be started.
Okay. Okay. Because the language they were using at the Corning Natural Gas letter was an existing structure almost, which that could
so if you have an existing building, like my home is there.
Yeah.
If it happens to be gas, but if it wasn't, I could still change it to gas if I wanted to.
Okay.
So it's on new builds is the law. However, there is a bill that has passed the legislature, the governor hasn't acted on yet, that makes it more difficult to hook up existing structures to the gas system. The 100-foot rule is what we've had for a long time, where if you have a building that's within 100 feet of the existing gas infrastructure, the gas utility is obligated to hook you up for free. It'll be no, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, and that's not going to be cheap.
No, it is not. And so,
aren't we talking about more affordable housing? Hasn't that been like the big thing in Albany?
This drives me up the wall because the governor has this talking point about we're going to make housing affordable.
Yeah.
And then everything that comes out of Albany, whether it's energy or how they treat landlords or how they treat construction of new buildings regarding wetlands or whatever, everything that comes out of Albany makes it harder. If you're concerned about the price of housing, which is a legitimate concern.
Yes.
If you're concerned about the price of housing, the simplest way to drive down the price of anything is increase the supply.
Absolutely.
It's pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Economics. I learned it at Corning Post West High School.
That's right. Probably.
And so if you drive up the supply, you lower the price, and it becomes more available to everybody. So the simplest way to increase the supply is make it easier for people to build homes, make it easier for people to rent homes, and suddenly the prices will go down. Instead, you make it harder, and then suddenly the government has to come in and say, well, we're going to socialize this in some way. And that's where you get basically the whole Mamdani campaign.
Mamdani, and also at a larger scale, isn't that what we're dealing with the government shutdown? Create a problem out of scratch and then come out and say, now we've got to fix it. It's the same. I mean, they all tie in together. But you're right, Mamdani. Don't give me a head on your colleague. On your colleague.
That's my fellow assemblyman.
So we're going to talk about him in a moment. But we do got a comment from Mark. He says, talk about a completely different topic. I see Russia is testing a new nuke, and now Trump is ordered to test our arsenal. Is this tit for tat, or is there more to it?
Well, I would imagine you just want to make sure that everything works correctly, right? I mean, you have, I would imagine a lot of the nuclear infrastructure dates back quite a ways. So you want to make sure that it works. You know, we have, I pray to God we never have to use a nuclear weapon again.
I think I read it was like 1996 was the last time we tested.
Yeah,
so
there's been some bans on testing for environmental purposes, but they're there as a deterrent, and you want to make sure it's a viable deterrent. But again, I would hope and pray that there's never another nuclear exchange in the world, and that it remains just that, a
test.
Yeah.
A comment from a viewer. Good morning, Joe, and I'm assuming Frank too. Does the natural gas ban include propane?
So this would be the infrastructure on the house itself, and so. It would.
I'm not sure if that can, because some people do.
Like a separate propane tank. You would probably be able to. I'd have to go look into that.
Because that's the first time I've heard that question.
That's an interesting question. It may actually.
Because you're getting Phil questions.
Yeah, exactly. I'll look into that and get back to you, Frank.
Yeah, because that's a great question.
Actually. It's I've read the bill.
Yeah.
And the bill was passed prior to me being in the assembly, but because of it coming up, I was reading the details of it, so we're getting questions about it. It's pretty blanket in how it's written.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's exceptions when it comes to like the type of building, like hospitals and things. But I haven't seen.
Here we go. So, and I know you trust AI with all your heart.
That's right.
But according to AI, yes, the natural gas ban in New York includes propane for most new construction, which makes sense.
Yeah,
because they're not going to let that loophole.
Yeah, from my recollection of the text of the bill, I recall exceptions for the type of building. I don't recall a lot of exceptions for, this type of non-electric. So. If we'll get back to Frank, but I strongly suspect that you can't do propane.
Because, I mean, it does, Oh, there we go. Now Spectrum is reporting.
Yeah.
The new law will ban natural gas and propane. So, we don't have to trust on AI. But it wasn't wrong.
No, AI was right in this case.
In this case.
Yeah. So it's there's exceptions for things that are sort of like emergency infrastructure, which is sort of like, if you admit that you need an exception for that, why don't you need an exception?
And also
for
hospitals, right?
Hospitals are accepted,
So you're saying something's a lot more reliable, and what do? We want it reliable for our most vulnerable in a hospital, but not for you in your daily living.
The law itself admits that in the most extremely important of circumstances, you got to rely on this more reliable fuel to heat and power things. And so, but not for you.
Not for you. Especially, and you think about it in rural New York. This viewer just wrote in, as many times as my power goes out at my house, can I sue it every time sue the state every time it goes down? No.
Get ready for more of that.
But you're going to have more of that even with the grid. Right. I mean, you hear about like Texas when it gets real hot that the grid can't handle it with air conditioning. We're going to have that problem. Everything's our grid's not prepared for this.
That's correct. The grid is not prepared for the load. We're at the limits of what the grid can handle with the load we currently have. And if a lot of places, if you want to build new factory or something, the utility whether it's NYSEG or RG&E or National Grid or whatever, is going to come back and say, okay, you can build, but we can't power it. You got to build the upgrade yourself. Right. So now the cost of your widget factory just dramatically increased. That's already the situation we're in today. Throw onto that all construction being electric, throw onto that push for electric vehicles and electric school buses and all these things, and we simply do not have the infrastructure to handle it, and the cost to try and get there is going to be just passed on to the ratepayer. So I know there's been a lot of concern about utility costs going up and bills going up. You ain't seen nothing.
No. And I love how Hochul blames the companies, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying maybe they're not maybe as fresh.
This
as
is a frustrating
but
thing. This is what they are counting on. What the Democrats are counting on, that the people out there will blame the person that gives them the bill. So the bill comes from the utility, and then suddenly you blame the utility. Now, I'm not saying utilities are perfect. I'm not saying they don't need to be held accountable to give accurate billing and to make sure that behind the scenes they're doing things efficiently. I'm all for that. But bear in mind, when you get a dramatic increase in your electric bill, you get a dramatic increase in any of your utility bills, and you have a frustration with your utility, I get it. But they are the middleman. They are complying with stupid law that is on the books, already on the books, has been on the books for years from Albany, and they then they're counting on you to not look past the name on the bill. Look past the name on the bill, and you should blame the extreme radical Democrats in Albany for your expenses.
Comment from a different viewer. We have a gentleman on Friday that writes in Climate Fact Friday, Bob, and he says,
"Oh yes, I remember."
So he says,
"It's not Friday."
I know. So this is a little early.
Wow.
He said, "Good morning, Frank and Joe from Climate Fact Friday, Bob. Question for Joe: do you think the Office of Renewable Energy or ORES is even necessary? It seems that this is just another layer of bureaucracy costing the taxpayer millions of dollars a year."
We have a lot of bureaucracy.
Yes.
That costs the taxpayers quite a bit of money per year. And that sounds like a redundancy to me.
Yes. Oh, and also, yes, Ken writes in, I meant to mention this, the New York, the fuel ban, the housing, a.k.a. the funding of the Dems special interest bill, also includes fuel oil. So that's also included in that. So
thank you for that.
All right, we got some other ones coming in, but it is going to be so obnoxious. I have gas too, but I do have an electric stove.
Okay.
And then when power goes out, you have no way of cooking.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, you don't realize, and then you make it, what's the word I want to use? Magnify, thank you. I was going to say magnetize. I don't know why. But when you do that for your whole house in the middle of the winter.
That's right. This is a real danger. This is a life or death sort of situation if you're in an isolated area in the winter and storms. So this is a real major problem that people don't realize what is about to happen, whether it's the building, whether it's the other mandates. We are about to actually implement the policies that have been passed in the last few years to the great detriment as far as safety and as far as economics of the people, especially of upstate New York.
Yes. We better take our first break. We've been jumping all over with great questions here. Thank you. Keep them coming in. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this. Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, we have Assemblyman. I almost said Phil Palmisano, who we're talking so much energy. Yeah. No, we do have a lot of comments. Assemblyman Joe Sempolinski, Congressman, former Congressman.
Well, at the town hall last night, because of these impending mandates, there was a lot of energy questions. Yeah, that's right. I did mention Phil. Yeah. Just that, who'd be great to talk about these things is my dear friend Phil.
Yes, we got a lot of comments. I think the powers that be want everything to go up until it gets to the point where they can say, look, if we had socialism, this wouldn't happen.
Well, there's we talked about housing in that context. We talked about energy in that context. And there's some, we were talking during the break, there's some people ask, well, why is this happening? Why don't people have any common sense?
Right,
Why would you not let us build with things that aren't electric? These sort of things. I give the anecdote Frank and I were talking about during the break. So the state put out its draft energy plan, and they had a series of public comment hearings where you go and testify. Mr. Palmisano went to all of them.
He got
the T-shirt for the full concert tour or whatever. I went to Buffalo with Phil and testified at the Buffalo one. And, we expressed our opinion that this was, really not thought out and too aggressive, going to the so-called left. And you had people, because there was in the draft energy plan sort of statements that we need gas in the short term. We'll get rid of it eventually, but we need it in the short term, or we need more nuclear, this sort of thing. And the people on the left were bonkers. They were basically attacking the governor for saying she was, a right-wing lunatic for not getting rid of gas immediately today. For even saying you should do nuclear. So when you ask, well, where is this all coming from? The Democratic base, especially downstate, has gotten radicalized on a variety of issues. Energy certainly being one of them. And I think the Republican position is pretty common sense. We want to protect the environment. We don't want to hurt the environment, but we have to have a wide, all-the-above energy approach. And when we have a massive amount of gas infrastructure where the vast, overwhelming majority of people are getting gas, especially in cold, snowy western New York, maybe we should keep that. And give people options, not force things on them. So we believe in choice and freedom and protecting the environment. And they are in crazy town. And now that Mamdani is probably going to be the next mayor of New York City, they are all going to be terrified. Even the more reasonable Democrats are going to be terrified of a primary from their left.
Look at Hochul's endorsement.
That's right. Yeah, Hochul owns every crazy thing this guy's about to do, which is why she ain't going to be governor much longer.
I agree.
She's going to lose. This is going to get worse over the next year. And then hopefully after the governor election, get better. We're at the beginning of this. People don't realize. They're just realizing what's about to happen to them, and this is the start of where they want to go. That 100-foot rule bill, that was a tapered down version of the bill they wanted to pass. There was enough pushback from Republicans and moderate Dems to take a lot of that out. So that's a very unreasonable bill, which I voted no on. But that was one piece of what much bigger bill that they wanted to do.
We'll run through some of these questions or these comments real quick. Mark writes in, this is a good point. As far as Hochul making everyone build new homes and businesses all electric, I'm wondering if her next move will be to put a sin tax on existing natural use or homes tax usage. That's not a bad sin tax.
That is a legitimate concern. Is what comes next? What happens to existing gas infrastructure? What happens to people that are like my home was built in 1860, and I have a gas boiler.
Your home is older than the East Wing.
My home is much older than the East Wing.
We'll talk about that in a second. I'm wondering if we had a major power outage because of grid overload, if we would follow California's lead and just have rolling blackouts instead of outcries for them to allow more natural gas usage. Let's just say it happens during the coldest part of the winter. I've said it before, and it's not hyperbole. People are going to lose their lives because of the decisions.
I couldn't agree. I agree with everything that comment was made. It was very, very correct.
Comment from a different viewer, given that the one-party rule, those in charge obviously have a vested interest in going all electric. Here's something I don't think many people have thought about. I wonder just how much the cost of gas appliances will go up for those of us who might want to replace a gas furnace, for example. And you'll have less businesses because there'll be less call for, so that could be an ultimate goal. And finally, can local officials like Joe just tell Albany we are not going to enforce this law? Can't you, Joe?
Well, I mean, I am in the legislative branch. We try and write the law. I don't enforce the law. Sadly, the enforcement of the law is handled by the executive branch, which is headed by Governor Hochul.
So there you go. We're going to talk about her in a moment. But I mentioned the East Wing. Boy, the media loves fake scandals, don't they?
This is okay.
Be careful. You were upset during break. Watch your language.
The White House. Yes, true. The White House desperately needs a large event space.
I embarrassed myself by almost mocking a viewer saying, "There's no way we rent big tents
for big events.
Rent
tents.
We can't even own a tent.
That'd be a good business to have. Tent rental for the White House. So the White House is not a physically large. The main mansion is not a physically large building. Hence why we have an East Wing and a West Wing, and they expanded, and the West Wing is sort of presidential's offices, and the East Wing was sort of for the First Lady and whatnot.
And the most historic part, if you listen to the
media. That's actually the least historic part.
I know.
Really. It was the most useless part of the whole complex. The only part of that complex that is sort of original is the exterior walls of the main mansion. Even the interior of the main, what you think of as the White House, was gutted by President Truman. Literally gutted. You can see pictures of like backhoes and excavators and stuff inside the White House. It's completely reconstructed. So every president has put their own tweak and stamp on the White House.
Some more important,
complex.
some less important.
Yeah, that's right.
We talk bowling alleys, we talk swimming pools, those type of things, then you have bigger.
Exactly. And the president said correctly, and he said this while he was, before he was president, this is an area that needs a big event space. It's the showcase for state dinners and what have you. I have been at a large social event at the White House,
Yeah.
and you're walking around, you can't even walk.
And you've got heaters if it's cold.
Right. So it's a legitimate need and a legitimate infrastructure improvement that should have happened to the complex. They tore down the least important part of the complex, which is the East Wing. They don't make TV shows about the East Wing.
Exactly.
Right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. So, and they put in place something that was desperately needed, or going to put in place something that was desperately needed, funded with private donations.
Yeah.
So it's not, you're not even paying
But
for it.
have because you pay attention, but how the media is not mentioning that.
Yeah.
Because I see on social media people go, well, 300 million people don't have SNAP benefits or whatever.
No,
they
it's
don't want you to
privately
know.
funded. Here's what I think it's really about. That ballroom is going to become a major focal point of major historical events when the King of England or the Prime Minister of wherever shows up, and for the next 100 years, it's going to remind everybody who's a Democrat about President Trump.
Well, and I had made the prediction on this program that if, depending on the situation, the first Democrat that gets in there, if there's still this kind of TDS that people talk about, that he's going to propose tearing it down, right? And then what happens a week later? Eric Swalwell comes out and says it's a litmus test for future presidential
And then he
candidates.
immediately backtracked. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, come on.
He's like, oh, we'll just rename it after Obama or something or whatever it was. And so, no, it was a significant infrastructure improvement to the complex. It was needed and necessary and funded in a very nice way, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, and
I could not agree with President Trump more on renovating the eastern side of the White House complex.
And I also got to say, it's perfect for the media because the visuals. When you talk about PR, the visuals and optics and the way they present it, you would think they were tearing down the actual White House.
Right, that's right. And there's a lot of people that are spun up about this, where you see people posting pictures of themselves in the main mansion saying, I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Was there.
How could they? It's so heartbreaking.
No,
don't mislead. If it's that bad.
And again, everything you saw in the main mansion, if you've ever been on a White House tour, all the walls, all the rooms, that dates to Harry Truman.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not date to Thomas Jefferson.
It's just it's all optics wise. They know that they got you.
Right.
And but right now I love it. I love the whole idea.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a benefit to the country for a long time to come.
I didn't see your name on the donor list, though, Joe.
I am a thousandaire, not a millionaire.
Boy, those are some big names. And you know the names you don't recognize. Like, I wonder what they do.
Yeah, right.
I got to do a little Wikipedia thing.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple comments from viewers. It's always a pleasure watching Joe. If we had more clean Republicans like him, the Democrats wouldn't have a one-party government, and they want the exclusive monopoly. No Republicans at all. So good compliment.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Comment from a different viewer, from Steve. Good morning, Frankie. Good morning, Joe. Well, thank you. One of the only positive things I could think about electric is that maybe finally I'll start fixing structures that are in place instead of building on existing land. It's also in the bill that a restaurant is built, they're not allowed to use gas. Is that in there? Because I have no idea how a restaurant can exist without using gas.
Yeah, this has come up a lot, especially
in the city,
downstate. Yeah, where the
pizza,
right?
What they're known
for, the wood-fired pizza.
Yeah.
You may have some particular product.
Yeah.
That is distinctive to you, and you have a particular way of producing that food. And now when somebody comes along, Big Brother, and says you can't do it, well, you literally can't produce that product anymore. Your wood-fired pizza, you was slap that on the old gas burner. It's not exactly the same product.
Yeah.
And so, what is frustrating is we've been talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We've had some wonderful comments from the folks in TV land.
Yeah.
And the folks in TV land over the last 20 minutes have thought more about energy policy in the state of New York than the state legislature did when they passed this law.
Exactly.
That's how we do business in the state of New York.
Yes. So also we got some other
good work.
Yeah, doing a great job. They always do. And there's so many questions. A lot of them because they're grandfathered in. So what's Corning going to do with their gas furnaces for glass? But you're still going to have problems, like we said earlier, when you start to find it more difficult, more expensive for replacement parts and things like that. But things are grandfathered in. And finally, incidentally, though, NYSEG is not to blame. They're asking for a 40% increase in the delivery charge and a 30% increase for gas, or 40 for, those numbers may be a little off. But I mean. Yeah,
I've been on the record saying I don't want utility increases. Myself and my other colleagues in the region have been explicitly in writing on that.
Yes.
I've also had repeated meetings with the leadership of NYSEG RG&E, and I understand that they are the middleman on this. That doesn't mean I'm in favor of rate increases. To be clear, I am on the record against rate increases. But bear in mind, they are complying with epically stupid policy. And so you can be as frustrated with utilities as you want to be frustrated with. I'm not telling you not to be mad about the people that are sending you a bill or asking for the right to send you a much bigger bill.
Yeah.
But remember who is really pushing this. It is the radical edge of the Democratic Party, and frankly, not so much even the radical edge anymore. It is the mainstream portion of the Democratic Party. And so think about that going forward when you're making choices about your who you support politically.
Yes. We better take a short break. Stay with us. Keep those great comments coming in, and we'll be right back. So frankly speaking, Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, former Congressman, current Assemblyman, current Chairman of the Steuben County Republican Committee, Joe Sempolinski. Hey, let's talk about the mayor's race. I know it's New York City.
New York City.
And what's your
big
thoughts?
red apple.
I know. Did you ever think that there would be a time when actually some Republicans are calling to vote for Cuomo? And I'm not saying all Republicans at all, but
I mean, it's a great. How much time have we spent?
I know.
On this show and its wonderful radio predecessor?
Yes,
talking about Andrew flipping Cuomo.
Yes, a lot,
and you know, I'm no Zohran Mamdani fan, but the argument that somehow Cuomo is dramatically better than Mamdani, I think they're bad in different ways.
It's almost like the argument is Cuomo has more experience.
Yeah, experience killing people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know, so yeah, they're both horrific. They're just horrific. They're two different genres. Of
horrific. Yes.
So
that's a good way of putting it.
You know, so if I lived in New York City, I'd be voting for Mr. Sliwa.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I do think the Republicans could have got behind him a little better from the beginning. That whole race just unfolded so strange. Because if you remember even the betting apps and things like that where it's illegal or legal, I don't know. But Cuomo was going to win that primary, and he's
people assumed it was a lock and a walk, and this nobody comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Mamdani, and so Zohran Mamdani is a state assemblyman. He has the same job I do. Never met the guy.
I was going to say, have you ever seen it? Because they said the one bill he passed last year, he didn't even vote on because he wasn't there.
No, it was at the end of session.
Yeah.
He didn't show up to vote after the budget.
Okay.
So the budget passed, mid-April. It was a little late. Well, later than that. But after the budget passed, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I think I've been in the same room with him in the sense of I've been in the chamber at the same time he's been there with everybody else, but I've never interacted with the guy. He's not somebody that is an aggressive legislator. I think we've passed approximately, it's within one or so, approximately the same number of bills. He's been there 5 years. I've been there 10 months.
Yeah.
He's in the majority. I'm in the minority. And just to be clear, this isn't somebody that all the Democrats in Albany were like, oh yeah, this guy's the next big thing. He was a kooky, outcast, radical in Albany.
Yeah.
So among New York City Democrats, he's too crazy for us.
Yeah,
that's the guy that's about to become mayor of New York City.
That's something wild happened.
So this is something that did come completely out of the blue, and his positions that he has taken over the years are radical. And what you've seen over the campaign, whether it's primary or general, and he's been saying some crazy stuff on this campaign, but that's the sanitized version of him. If you pull up, and people are starting to now, a little late, pull up clips of when he was running for assembly or when he was sort of an activist before that.
Anti-Semitism, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, there's some stuff he said that's really
because they kept talking about the globalized and intifada, and he wouldn't denounce that. That's horrible. Yeah. But compared to some of the things that actually came out of his mouth, why did this not come out earlier? I mean, I say that rhetorically, but they're coming out now with like a video of his mom who said that he doesn't think America first. He's more of a
and his father has some real weird
that's wild too. So, that was out this morning.
So his father is this very radical professor, and his mother is this independent filmmaker. And all this guy did prior to being elected to the assembly was he had been sort of campaign worker activist for these insurgent leftist candidates running against New York City Democrats, saying they're too conservative. Yeah. And he, would work on a campaign that lost and lost and lost and lost, and finally he ran himself and he won, and he took out primaried out a sitting Democrat,
kind of an AOC type story.
Yeah,
yep.
And now he's there. And as you mentioned AOC, all the hubbub around AOC when she became a congresswoman, this is going to be what the media will do with this guy.
Oh yeah,
100 times that.
Yeah.
On Wednesday,
yes,
should Mamdani win, he will be the second most famous human being on the planet.
Oh yeah,
after Donald Trump.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
And now, this is going to be horrible for New York City. It's going to be horrible for New York City. But my hope is that this may be the final thing for a lot of moderate Dems, especially downstate moderate Dems, going, this is not what I signed up for. And they look to a Republican candidate for governor. Because
I agree.
The mayor of New York City is one of the most prominent human beings on the planet, but they are a local elected official.
Right.
They are not a state governor. They are not a president. So a lot of the things they have to do or want to do, they have to get money from Washington, which ain't coming, or they got to go and get approval from Albany. We have what's called Tin Cup Day, and it's during the budget hearings, and we have all day, for over the course of a month, these very long budget hearings as we're doing the budget. These tend to happen in February, early March. And one of those is local government budget day. And the first witness every year is the mayor of New York City. And they call it Tin Cup Day because he's metaphorically there with his tin cup saying,
we need money.
I need money. And so the simplest way to stop a Mayor Mamdani, and I hope there isn't a Mayor Mamdani, but if he is mayor, the simplest way to stop his agenda is a Republican governor. Because clearly we know Kathy Hochul ain't going to stand up to him because she endorsed him.
I know. I want to talk about that.
And so the simplest way to fix or block what this guy wants to do is a Republican governor. And my hope is, moderate Dems in the outer boroughs, maybe suburban voters next to New York City, maybe Donald Trump hasn't been their cup of tea. They come to the realization that we need to vote for the Republican side and balance out this state. And hopefully that leads to a Republican governor being elected next year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in depth. And Hochul's endorsement, I've always said you can tell that she was never supposed to be governor, right? That's why she was picked for lieutenant governor, because she just doesn't have that.
Did you see what she said? She thought they were chanting at her.
Let's go Bills.
Let's go, because they're chanting tax the rich.
Tax the rich. Let's go
Bills. And she's in New York City. Of course they're going to.
Yeah, they're not.
It was like, let's go Brandon.
That's what so many people said that on the show.
Dramatically stupider.
Yeah. It was so pathetic. And the fact that she then has to say, well, he hasn't endorsed because I don't want him to endorse yet. It's the time frame. Okay, so you basically, if I was Mamdani, I'd be kind of mad because you basically just endorsed for Mamdani without endorsing. Like, oh, he really wants to. Did you see him raise his hand in the mayoral debate? He does not want to.
He didn't say. He said a couple nice things about her, but he didn't. He had every opportunity.
Yes, and he could have at that point said, listen, it'd be better if I gave a different time frame, but yes, of course. No.
Right,
She knows that there's going to be a far left person nipping at her heels, I think.
Right.
And if she has two primary challenges, now granted, she'll probably come through that, maybe not.
Who knows?
But that's still.
But that is going to be suddenly the dynamics, as I mentioned, of the Democratic Party in New York State, where you're going to have Mamdani putting his arm around person X primarying Assemblyman or Senator or Congressman or Governor or Senator. Schumer, Chuck. Why do you think the government's shut down?
I know.
The government is shut down because Chuck is worried about a primary.
I can't believe that he hasn't endorsed. I thought for sure he'd endorse Mamdani after Jeffries did.
Maybe he's not running for re-election.
Yeah, it could be. He sees AOC, right?
I don't know. I don't know what Chuck does.
No.
Chuck doesn't tell me.
He doesn't call you?
No.
Let's go to a couple of comments. I know I'm missing some of your comments. That's always the case when Joe's here just because we have so much to cover.
I'm glad there's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
That means there's somebody at the other end of the camera. It's good.
Yeah. I still think Sliwa can win, this viewer says. He's the only candidate with any common sense and is not a murderer, meaning, and a communist anti-Semite.
I think I said this on the show before. I've met Mr. Sliwa once.
Yeah.
And we were at a dinner in Albany in the spring. And we happened to be one table apart, and we were introduced by some mutual friends. And my entire conversation was, and this is prior to the primary and everything, I just shook his hand. I said, I pray to God you win.
Yeah, you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple other comments. Looks like yellow spider webs on the camera shot of Market Street. Sure does.
A little rainy out there. Yeah.
I know the natural gas users far outweigh the electric users.
Especially in this part of the world.
Yeah, so if Elise Stefanik announces she will run, I would hope the natural gas users vote out Hochul.
I would
hope so. I don't care what their decision is.
In this part of the world, it's overwhelmingly gas.
Yeah. Yes. I'm wondering if this is a good point. I'm wondering if Mamdani could potentially be able to run for president. Obama came out of nowhere too. You know, and I don't know about age-wise because I don't actually know how old he is.
He is 33, 34, somewhere
So he
in
would
there.
be right around.
He was born in Uganda.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that part of it.
So and I don't think his parents were American citizens, so I don't think he is eligible. But
that is an interesting correlation because people don't remember that Obama had only been, a senator for 2 years.
So Obama gets elected to the Senate, and 2 years later announces he's running.
Yeah.
So when he announced he'd only been senator for just over 2 years.
Just kind of interesting. Yeah. And finally, this is how we'll go to break. Let me check which break I'm on. Okay. I think this is a very good point this person makes. Good morning, Frank and Joe. It would be great if Joe was on the ticket with Stefanik. All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. The Frankly Speaking roof cam, there's those. They kind of dissipated a little bit, but the spider webs. Sun's coming up. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, Joe Sempolinski. Joe, we still have a lot to cover. People, I just joked and took us off the air right when that person suggested you should be on the ticket. That's kind of a step down. You used to get governor.
No, well, listen, for the record, I am not running for governor. My plan is to run for re-election to the Assembly.
Make that very clear.
Especially to my wife.
Oh my gosh. But, I hope she's not watching.
Yeah, right. But I think it's extremely likely. She hasn't said it yet, so I'm not making any news here. But I think it's extremely likely that Congresswoman Stefanik is going to run. I've known Elise for a little bit for a long time, and she was great to work with, both when I was running for Congress, when I was in Congress. Right. We were just texting a couple weeks ago, and I've had a chance to talk to her very briefly in person when she was in Buffalo a couple months ago, and I think she definitely gives us the best chance to win. She's the best.
I like now that the coverage when Hochul does something kind of foolish, like the endorsement stuff, she always gets that. Even though it's later in the article, it's always because the media has already assumed that she's running.
And the good thing about Elise is, and this is no negative to our previous nominees, but when I'm out and about, at an event, a town hall meeting, or just on the street or whatever, people will ask me, is she going to do it? Is she going to do it? So your average voter,
the buzz,
already sort of, especially our Republican-based voters, they really sort of already have heard of her, they know her, and so she's going to come in with name ID and money,
lots of money
that no Republican nominee has ever had before. And there won't be a primary. If she does it, she'll be the nominee almost like instantly. So and there was a poll that came out this week that had her up one.
Up one, I know.
If that's even close to accurate,
there's two, remember, that have been like really close where you're right. Because she's starting in some of the polls where Zeldin finished. Yeah. And so that's really important to remember because Zeldin worked hard.
Yeah, Zeldin wasn't a household name when he got in the race.
No, now he is.
And now, he's in the cabinet. He's doing great. But she sort of already is because of how she's handled the questioning that she's done. I wouldn't want to be downrange of her questioning. And I think I've said it before. The committee she's on where she questioned the college presidents is the Education and Workforce Committee. That's the committee. I served on that committee with Elise. But I was there. And watching that happen is always entertaining.
And I'm glad that her new book, I really do look forward to it, about the Ivies and all that. This is going to be interesting. But going back, because we talked about Hochul, I was reading an article, I think it was about when she was at the rally with Mamadani. And the media called...
Bills rally.
Yeah, the Bills rally. They called her, the media, I think this is fascinating, called her a moderate, business-friendly governor. That was political.
Compared to Mamdani, Stalin's like moderate business friendly, right? So it could be a comparison thing. But that's I think what is particularly frustrating. We're talking about a lot this hours here about energy. Yeah, and these are bills that are ridiculous, and everybody's worked up about them, which they should be. Yeah, that Hochul supports. Yeah, and Hochul is nowhere near as far left as Mamdani. Right. So the Democratic Party in the state of New York has spun off into really crazy town where people that we've been frustrated with for the last generation, Cuomo, Hochul, these folks have folks that are significantly to their left. Like I said, I deal with some very, very liberal New York City Democrats. Right. Very liberal New York City Democrats. Mamdani was considered a radical by them. Right. So the only hope for this state is that moderate Democrats wake up, especially downstate moderate Democrats, and go, this is too much. I have to vote for the Republican.
Yeah.
Whether that is Republican Curtis Sliwa next week,
Yep.
or it's Republican, hopefully, Elise Stefanik next year.
Yes, and that's what we're hoping for. But Hochul, going back to what I was saying, she's just not ready for it. Just like at the rally, how uncomfortable she was at the rally. It reminds me, remember when she gave the speech at the DNC?
Yeah.
And had the arrow right out the gate.
Yeah,
but she wants that so bad. She wants to be Andrew Cuomo. She wants to be some kingmaker, power broker in politics. And boy, she does.
Well, sadly, she was born without charisma.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's
a great point.
And I'm not saying I'm the most charismatic cat in the world, but sort of either you got it or you don't, as far as that level of politics.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't walk into it wasn't when she walks into that room, it's not like,
there she
governor.
is.
It's like, who's this lady? And she does not have gravitas or command.
No, but
pretty much
you can
anything.
tell she really wants that. But that's an interesting rally. That's a group there. And the fact that she endorses him, then he doesn't endorse her.
Right.
Then he does a rally with her. Then he doesn't endorse her again.
Correct.
And then she does this big rally.
Right.
She's being used, and she looks. I would be embarrassed at the end of the day.
She should be, and they're chanting, and they're heckling her. The crowd is heckling her, saying,
"Yeah, thanks for nothing."
Tax the rich, which she has said that she doesn't want to raise taxes, but we'll see if that holds out until March 31st when the fiscal year ends.
I know. We haven't even talked about the government shutdown, but I got to take a break. We'll stay. Well, we kind of did, right? We've covered a little bit of everything. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hasselson studio. Joe Sempolinski in that studio. Comment before we move on to some other issues. I'm sending Stefanik my inflation refund check. Hochul's got to go. We've had a lot of people say that.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
That's a wise investment.
What'd you do with yours?
I don't think I got one.
I haven't got one yet.
Yeah. If I got one, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go.
I've talked to my wife.
Yeah. Maybe it's already spent. All right, the government shutdown. We don't have a lot of time because we got to talk about voting, early voting. People can early vote now. But the government shutdown, the old trick by the media was it's always 100% Republicans' fault. It's not as much this time.
Yeah.
They're trying. Don't get me wrong.
They're trying, and it really doesn't work. That you've seen these senators say, well, the Republicans control all three branches of government. Well,
that's so misleading.
The reason we're having this is because the Senate is super majoritarian, and the Republicans, and you saw Thune on the floor of the Senate yesterday. Senator Thune is like as calm as a placid stream. And he's flipping out on it.
Yeah.
So the Republicans are asking for nothing. They have no demands. Everything they wanted policy-wise, they got in the big, beautiful bill. Mm-hmm. So all they're asking for is a clean CR. Just
same funding as
up, and we can negotiate on the Obamacare stuff or whatever. The Democrats are the ones making demands. They have taken a hostage. Mm-hmm. The hostage is the American people. Mm-hmm. And because of the SNAP deadline coming up, they're basically saying we're going to shoot the hostage unless you give us what you want. So who's to blame here?
Yeah.
The one that took the hostage.
Yeah.
So this is 100% a Democrat-driven shutdown. The Republicans and a very, very, very small number of moderate Democrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3, I think.
Yeah, small. When I say small, I mean small number. A very, very small number of moderate Democrats have been consistently voting for a clean CR over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats won't give them the votes. This is the Democrats' fault. They are the ones making demands. The Republicans are making no demands whatsoever. And to Senator Thune, who, again, Mr. Calm, is flipping out on the floor, I think his comment yesterday was, oh, now you're just realizing this has real world
implications.
Consequences?
Yeah. And
a month in?
And this is all because of Schumer, like you said, he's scared of far left.
That's right.
And it's sad.
And so is, frankly, Jeffries now.
Yeah,
because
but
Jeffries is in New York City, and you don't think Mamdani can take him out like that?
I know, and he's scared of that. And the thing is, Hakeem Jeffries didn't, whatever you think about Nancy Pelosi, she had been there so long, she knew how to play the game. He's got a learning process where he's not there yet. Too.
Nancy Pelosi was not good for the country because her policies were bad. Her policies were destructive.
Yes.
But she knew what she was doing.
Whether or not you hated that.
Jeffries has the same destructive policies and has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah. So there you go. There's our quick rundown of the government shutdown. I saw you went early voting. You like that early voting.
I like it
Convenience-wise, right?
Convenience. I like to just get it done.
Yeah.
And then I have to think about it.
And you're busy as chairman.
Yeah. So like if
Tuesday.
the first sort of day where I'm available, I'll go an early vote, and I encourage people to do it because the concern is that you say, oh, I want to vote on election day, which I get. The polling place is closer to your house and all these things. But what happens if you have a situation? You get called into work or your kid gets sick, heaven forbid, or something, and you can't vote. So the phrase we've been using as the Republicans over the last few years is bank your vote. Like just go bank it, get it done. And also it's easier on the candidates because they can say, all right, these people have all voted. I don't have to worry about campaigning to them over the last week of the campaign. So I understand, it's something where Republicans haven't embraced it as much as Democrats have.
Right.
We've gotten
much more, especially during the presidential. We did a great job.
But I would encourage everyone to go out and early vote. Early voting lasts through Sunday. There is no early voting on Monday, and then the main election day is Tuesday in the regular polling places throughout the county. But between now and Sunday, you can go vote in Hornell,
right here at
Bath,
the library,
or Corning.
Yeah.
And anybody in Steuben County can vote at any of those locations. So if you happen to be somebody that you live in Corning, but you work in Hornell, you can go vote at the early voting location in Hornell. Anybody can go to any of them. And I strongly encourage it. I did it. My wife did it. And so my vote's already in. I don't have to worry about Tuesday. I can go do the other things I need to do as chairman and as assemblyman and all these other things. It is the same process as voting on election day. It's in person, it's on the machine, it's not going through the mail.
Nope.
It's not an absentee ballot.
That early absentee should be
the early absentee is ridiculous, yeah. But the early vote is in-person early voting, so I strongly encourage it. The numbers are always a little weak for going in for the Republicans, and they get better over the course of early voting. It tends to be as the Democrats will do it right at the beginning, and then the Republicans, as they get closer to election day, will vote. But please get out to vote. And everywhere, there's more attention on the races in the town of Corning, town of Hornby, town of Caton, town of Irwin, city of Corning, city of Hornell. Those have pretty intense local races, but everywhere in Steuben County, you at least have the Supreme Court race.
Yes.
Whether you have anything local that's contested or not. And the folks in the Supreme Court district, they have to run the city of Rochester.
Yeah.
So they count on big margins in Steuben County and the other smaller counties to make up for the goofiness in the city of Rochester. So even if you're not in one of the areas where we have a contested county legislature or city race or a contested town race, please get out to vote for the Republican ticket on Row B. I'm very proud of our Republican ticket, and anybody you're voting for on Row B, you're going to be very pleased with.
It went very quickly. I mean, I've had so many candidates on. It's hard. It doesn't always this time of year because
you sort of
boom, just you wake up.
Right
and
on top
it's
of
next Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's the general election. Early voting is
right
simple.
up.
I haven't done it for a local.
You could go today.
Yeah, right after this program.
Yeah.
Hop in the car and go over to the library.
Finish watching Frank.
Yes, you don't go right this second.
Don't leave during Frankly Speaking.
We only got 4 minutes, so.
But once you're done with Frankly Speaking,
put your shoes on.
Then go.
Yeah, I know that it was really interesting during the presidential race because there was a lot of people at that. It was just nice to walk in. It's no different than when you go to your local one.
Yeah.
You know a couple people,
That's
you
right.
talk and see how the numbers are. All right, here. Hey, wow, this is nice. This is how we're going to end the show, Joe. Do we have time? Comment from a viewer. Just a comment for Joe. That's a smart-looking suit you're wearing.
Oh, thank you.
Good combination. Did your wife pick it out?
Yes.
Okay.
Total honesty.
That person.
Yeah.
Maybe that one was actually your wife.
But that could be my wife. Yeah. My wife noticed all my suits were black or gray.
Oh,
she
so
made me buy a couple blue ones. Yeah.
I did see some coverage you had of an event the other day, and I saw that was you weren't colorful. You didn't
I
go
was wearing a blue pattern one.
Yeah, it's good.
Senator O'Mara liked it. He commented.
Go
when I
good.
walked into the room.
Yeah, so there you go. But you've been really busy. Everything's going well with the local races. All the campaigns seem to be going
I'm feeling good about how hard people are working, but you don't know until people actually go vote.
Yeah, and we've talked about it with all the candidates. We just have a minute here that I want to kill, but getting the vote out is
especially in the off year, in the local election year. There's a lot of people that only vote presidential year, or they only vote the even-numbered years. Please, your vote counts so much more in the local election year just because the election district is smaller. A lot of times these come down to 1 or 2 votes.
And that's what we talked about, and this was in Elmira too. I mean, there's candidates from all over.
Yeah.
This could be one of those ones that is decided, and you've witnessed this, lived through it, 5, 10 votes.
That's right. First time I ever ran for office, I lost by 8 votes.
Yeah. Think about that. That must have been heartbreaking.
10 years ago this year.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
So
get out and vote.
You keep thinking of those 8 houses you could have visited, and that's the thing. But there are a lot of important races. So if you do early vote, let us know. We've got a busy show for you in store tomorrow. Thank you, of course, as always, to Joe for being on the program. I want to thank the guys from Comic-Con, Twin Tiers Comic-Con. They were here right before you.
They were before me?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun event coming up on November 14th and 15th. And we will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV, Big Fox. I look forward to it already.